Hello, Durud and Shalom. Guys, I have a cold. Sorry for my voice. Do you hear me though? Let me know if the audio is good and make sure you like the stream. So, our predictions are coming true regarding the ceasefire. Unfortunately, I will say the ceasefire in Gaza. Uh, this is really escalating faster than many people thought. Well, not us because we kind of expected this. But let me know how the audio is. I know my voice is terrible because I have a cold. I hope you guys could tolerate my voice. But other than my voice being all messed up, is everything else okay? Make sure you let me know in the chat, and also make sure you like the stream. Make sure you like the stream so that more people end up watching the stream. So let's just go over what happened. Okay, see who's in the chat. Let me see. Mohsen Hammers, Roy is here, Comrade Shifty is here, Toby is here. Okay, get well Armin. Okay, but is the audio is good. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Neil Bunny, LF, Debbie, Mohsen, Jack, L is here. All right, let's just watch what happened. And there's more actually after this. Okay, so guys, warning, there's depressing content. Distressing, not depressing. Distressing content is about to be shown. I'm assuming that this is okay to show on YouTube because this is already on YouTube. So YouTube gods, please do not strike us down for the content that I'm about to show, because the content I'm about to show is on YouTube. So I'm assuming that it's okay to show. It's already on YouTube. Okay, so let's watch this. Oh, guys, Hamas carries out public executions just hours after signing peace treaty with Israel. They didn't waste a second. They didn't waste a second. They went around and tried to find all the people that were, taking positions against Hamas to strengthen their governing power over Gaza, which is completely in violation of the treaty agreements, the so-called peace agreement that they have, because they're not supposed to rule over Gaza. But this shows that they're trying to make sure that they have zero competition in Gaza. They went and found the people against them, and they just publicly executed them.
Harrowing video shows the gruesome scene where Hamas carried out mass public executions in Gaza on Monday, just hours after signing a peace treaty with Israel. The graphic footage shows 8 badly beaten, blindfolded men kneeling in the street before each is shot dead by Hamas gunmen in front of a cheering crowd. The horrifying
in front of a cheering crowd. Guys, did you see the footages that came out of Israel when after the hostages was released? The Israeli people celebrated life. They celebrated each other. They celebrated the coming home of their loved ones. But you could see this is a cult of death. They didn't even wait a second. As soon as the IDF was out, they took advantage of the opportunity to kill their own people. Like, not even like they didn't even let a minute pass before they turned against each other and killed each other. This is what a cult of death looks like.
Each is shot dead by Hamas gunmen in front of a cheering crowd. The horrifying killings are part of a series of bloody reprisals following the withdrawal of Israeli troops. The terror group said, without providing evidence, that the killings targeted criminals and collaborators with Israel, the BBC reported. Among those killed was Ahmad Zidan al-Tarabin, who was reportedly responsible for recruiting agents to a rival non-Hamas aligned militia, Israeli outlet Ynet News reported. Following the IDF's withdrawal as per the peace treaty, Hamas has quickly looked to reassert its control over Gaza, targeting the clans or family-based.
So reasserting its control over Gaza. Guys, given that that's what they're trying to do, what are the chances of this peace holding? The most important part of the peace agreement was Hamas's disarmament, and also Hamas letting go of Gaza, letting go of being involved in the governance of Gaza. But you can see that they're very set on making sure that they maintain their control over Gaza. So again, Trump was very confident that this is going to bring a peace deal. This is peace forever now. You can see, like, I hope Netanyahu now has the permission to go in. Guys, look, you have the hostages. They have no more leverage over you, and they're violating the peace agreement. There's nothing now stopping you from going back in and basically fucking these people up forever, for good. Like I hope if Netanyahu goes back into Gaza, Trump doesn't stop him, because this is obviously a violation of the peace agreement. And guys, you remember some people were telling me, Armin, give peace a chance. Okay, we gave peace a chance. It took 5 minutes for them to violate it.
Looked to reassert its control over Gaza, targeting the clans, or family-based armed groups that had gained strength during the conflict. Earlier on,
Guys, somebody saying, Armin, clear your throat. I'm sick. This is not, I can't clear my throat from my cold. Like, what am I supposed to do? To just spit out my cold?
or family-based armed groups that had gained strength during the conflict. Earlier on Monday, President Trump suggested he had given Hamas approval to manage internal security in Gaza as it sees fit, as part of a peace deal to return the remaining living hostages to Israel. On Monday, Trump
I'm here in the chat that's saying, Armin, you're supposed to blame Israel for your throat. There's a Mossad agent in my throat right now. There's a Mossad agent actively doing some operations in my throat. I guess viruses must be Mossad, no?
to manage internal security in Gaza as it sees fit, as part of a peace deal to return the remaining living hostages to Israel. On Monday, Trump signed the historic deal between Israel and Hamas, which included the release of 20 living Israeli hostages from Hamas captivity, as well as the remains of 28 more who are deceased, in exchange for Israel's release of 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, as well as a ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israel.
Wait, not prison terrorists. 2,000 so-called Palestinian terrorists. Guys, you can't believe the people that they released. So, like, if you go look at the records of what they did, these motherfuckers were monsters. Like, I can't believe some of these people killed their own sister and mother for treason. Like, some of them killed. Some of these people blew up a whole bunch of people in a bus. Among the 2,000 people, like, go look at the list of the people that they released. One person who was released after blowing up a bus of innocent people, and now he's been released and back in Gaza. It's fucking insane. And I see some people are debating, like, oh, I'm so glad that prisoners on both sides were released. Some people call it hostage exchange. What the fuck are you talking about? The other side, Israel doesn't take hostages. What do you mean hostage exchange? There is no exchange.
As well as the remains of 28 more who are deceased, in exchange for Israel's release of 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, as well as a ceasefire and the withdrawal of Israeli troops to pre-designated lines. That same day, Hamas announced the recall of 7,000 members of its security forces, quote, to cleanse Gaza of outlaws and collaborators, after the Israeli Defense Force began pulling back its troops. Hamas, in a statement, claimed that it was imposed.
Imagine if you're one of those few people in Gaza that actually supports Israel and wants to get rid of Hamas, and you have collaborated with Israel to save your people, right? Imagine how scary must have been it for them. Like, now that IDF is pulling back, there's no security for them. Some people know what they did, and they're being hunted down in Gaza. Like, that's really scary. Imagine you being one of those people and looking at the ceasefire agreement being signed, and you realizing that IDF is going to pull out, and you're now going to be standing by yourself next to these army of savages coming and finding you and hunting you down.
The Defense Force began pulling back its troops.
Lisa, I'm not crying. I'm sick. I have a cold. Oh my God. I'm not crying. This is a cold. I have a cold.
Hamas, in a statement, claimed that it was imposing order and restoring security and stability following the ceasefire. Phase 2 of the peace deal calls for the disarmament of Hamas, but so far the terrorist group has rejected the idea, seeking further talks before taking the next steps.
Yeah, they rejected the idea. You mean they rejected the terms of the agreement?
Without the IDF in control and Hamas struggling following 2 years of war with Israel, some experts caution that a struggle among the Palestinians is now brewing as factions seek to fill the power vacuum left behind.
Yeah, actually, look at this, guys. This is an anti-Hamas Gazan militia. Do you guys know who these are? They after the IDF took out, they're coming in and they're saying they're in control. This is did you guys know that these people exist? This is very interesting. An anti-Hamas Gaza militia says it now controls numerous parts of northern Gaza and will ensure safety for Gazans returning home. Look at them. This is them. Oh yes, they are very dangerous. Okay, first of all, I don't like the Bismillah Rahman Rahim, but I like their logo because it gives you beach vibes. Look at this. It looks like a logo for a resort. I don't see anything Islamic on their logo. I just see a sunset, the sea, the palm trees. Okay, like this is like you should put a surfboard next to your jihadist there. Like you should put a surfboard next to the jihadists, one on each side. The logo has the logo has nothing Islamic on it, and it's like a resort. Are they gonna? This is pretty cool. Like it's just palm trees and sunset.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق
يا أيها الذين آمنوا. That's a verse from the Quran. I don't like that. The logo doesn't match the look of the people and what he's saying. They seem to be trying to look very badass, but the logo seems to suggest that they just want to have a good time.
بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين صدق الله العظيم يا جماهير شعبنا الفلسطيني يا أهلنا الصامدين الصابرين في قطاع غزة ها نحن نطل عليكم اليوم ونحن بخير وأقوى من أي يوم بفضل الله أولا
Okay, he's just
بفضل دعمكم لنا إننا.
Okay, so just for the Quranic verse, and then they're announcing the fact that they have taken control for some areas. So these are Hamas's enemies. I don't know if they are on should we be on their side or not? Like I don't know. I just hope that they are successful at fighting Hamas. Who are these people? I know there are some people in Gaza that actually are in line with Israeli interest. I don't know if these people are. All right. So Torah saying they cooperate with the IDF. Okay, I don't know if these did he say that? Because I know there are some groups in Gaza that cooperate with the IDF. I just don't know if this is one of them. So I don't know if I don't know yet if we should be against these people or if we should support these people. Because if they are cooperating with the IDF, then potentially these people are heroes, right? So maybe these people are heroes. I could only judge the logo for now. So let's just keep an eye on that until further notice. Oh, the name is Abu Shabab. Okay, can you look into them and see if it's a group that we like or not? Somebody saying the palm tree makes sense because Islam is peace, obviously. I think the palm tree is there because they're next to Gaza is a beach. I think next to the beach, that's why they have palm trees. I think their plan is to turn Gaza. These terrorist looking people are not terrorists and they're just trying to turn Gaza into a beach resort. I think the logo suggests that they want to make Gaza into a beach resort. That's my understanding. Anyway, so let me show you something seemingly beautiful but absolutely ugly. Do you guys want to see that? So let's look at this. Look at this. Like this person is saying, "Oh my God, so beautiful." Look at this. This Palestinian man spent 20 years in Israeli prison. Oh my God, and now he's back to his wife. Guys, let me know why this is. Look at this. Palestinian father and hostage Ali Al-Sayas embraces his daughter, not wife, daughter. After over 20 years in Israeli prison, his daughter was just a little child when he was taken. So let's watch this and see how beautiful this is, and I'll tell you why it's not. Guess Guess why this is actually disgusting? But look at how beautiful it looks. Oh my god. So sweet. Oh, so sweet. So sweet. Okay, so let's actually now let's look at reality. This man, he went to prison for 20 years for blowing up a bus and killing 7 children. No, this guy blew up a bus and 7 children inside. He killed kids. Yeah, exactly. He killed kids exactly the age of his daughter. 20 years ago, he killed kids at the same age, 7 kids at the age of what his daughter was at that time. But look how people are celebrating this. Oh my god, look at this. It's got 52,000 likes. 52,000 likes. It got 5 million views. People are like, oh my god, look how evil Israel is. 20 years in prison. 20 years, you got freed after killing children. You are a free man, even though you blew up children. Like this, his daughter is this. Look, the daughter is celebrating her father, knowing that his father killed children. These people are fucking monsters. Fuck these people. Like, fuck these people. Look how they're trying to sell this to us as something beautiful. It's unbelievable. Fuck all these people. Fuck every single one of them, you fucking monsters. Okay. But guys, remember that hostage? Remember the guy? What's his name? The guy who was all bones and the guy who was the hostage that Hamas released the video of. We covered him. Okay, like here, this guy. I know I have a hard time. David, Eviatar David. Let me actually show you the pictures so you remember. Yeah, this. Hold on. Yeah, Eviat. So remember this video, okay, of him looking like this. Okay, so now here he is now. Okay, the difference is these are childhood. He came home and he saw his after 2 years of being a hostage. Now he saw his best friend from childhood, and this we can celebrate because unlike the previous video that I showed you, Eviatar never killed anybody. He never killed children. So we can celebrate this video. Watch this. So he's the guy that Hamas made him to dig his own grave. He's home now. So let's actually look at other reasons why the ceasefire looks very, very shaky. Let's look at this.
Breaking news are bringing out. It's coming from the Israel Defense Forces, the IDF, and relates to Gaza. And they've put out a statement saying that earlier today, several suspects were identified crossing the yellow line. That's the line which the IDF has withdrawn to as part of the first phase of the ceasefire agreement in Gaza. So they said suspects crossed the yellow line, approached IDF troops in northern Gaza, which they say constitutes a violation of the ceasefire agreement. They say attempts were made to distance the suspects. They did not comply, continued approaching the troops, who opened fire to remove the threat. They say the reports regarding terrorists' infiltration to an IDF position are incorrect. And they finish off by saying the IDF calls on Gaza residents to follow its instructions and not to approach the troops deployed in the area. Nevertheless, that sounds very much like the continuation of at least some violence in the Gaza Strip, but the IDF saying that the line which they are holding to at the moment as part of that first phase of the ceasefire was crossed by suspects who didn't heed warnings, and the IDF say they opened fire to remove the threat. We'll have more on that as we get it from the region.
Wait, guys, I found a new video. I found a new video of the Gazans posting videos of their first day after the ceasefire. Let's watch this one. So this is Palestinians are posting videos titled "First Day in Gaza Without War," bustling malls, full supermarkets, and the brand new iPhone 17 for sale. You have been manipulated for over 2 years. Are you kidding me? They have iPhone 17 in Gaza. These are the videos that are coming out of Gaza on the first day after the ceasefire. So guys, look at this is in Gaza, the first day after the ceasefire. What the hell? Guys, I thought Gaza was completely turned into rubble. Okay, the song might give me a copyright strike. Okay, pausing for so that I don't get a. Maybe I should just mute it so I don't get a copyright strike over the music. Oh my God, guys, look at the famine in Gaza. Oh wow, there's nothing to eat. Oh, did this all happen in one day after the ceasefire? Oh, they have ice cream. I thought they don't even have bread to eat. They have ice cream and chips. Oh my God. This is what famine looks like. What the fuck is this? Oh my God. Impressive. They recovered so fast. 2 years of famine. It took them 1 day to recover. Amazing. Amazing. Hold on. Let's actually go watch this one. Well, I'm gonna go find more videos like that. But let's watch this for now.
Hospital in Tel Aviv, where some of the Israeli hostages released by Hamas are slowly recovering from their 2-year ordeal. Tonight, some of their families have been speaking for the first time since their loved ones returned home. Meanwhile, in Gaza, the bodies of 45 Palestinians killed during the war and taken to Israel were returned to the territory. But there is also uncertainty tonight and signs of fragility in the ceasefire and peace plan. This evening, Hamas has released the bodies of 4 more hostages, but 20 are still in Gaza. And Israel says it'll restrict aid entering the territory and keep the key crossing at Rafah closed until Hamas hands over more of the dead. In the territory, 7 people were killed by Israeli forces today after soldiers opened fire at Palestinians that they say had tried to cross into an area still controlled by the Israeli military. Well, international news organizations,
Yeah, guys, this ceasefire is not going to hold. It doesn't seem like it's going to hold.
Including the BBC, are not allowed to report from Gaza. So Jeremy Bowen has our top story tonight from Jerusalem.
Somewhere in Gaza's devastation are the bodies of hostages. The failure of Hamas so far to find all their graves in the rubble is putting an early crack in the ceasefire agreement. It said that all hostages, alive and dead, should be returned home at the same time. Israel dismissed Hamas's explanation that it's hard to locate graves in this blasted landscape. Its response, reducing aid into Gaza by half and keeping the border crossing with Egypt closed, is a sign that the ceasefire is fragile. Tonight, 4 more bodies are being transferred to Israel. That means 20 others are still missing. Israel should now return more Palestinian bodies it has kept to Gaza. The ceasefire relies on both Israel and Hamas keeping promises. All the bodies brought into Israel are going to the National Forensic Science Center for identification. One of the men was Guy Illouz, who was 26, killed after he was taken from the Nova Music Festival. 23-year-old Bipin Joshi, on the left in the cap, was a Nepalese agriculture student, just arrived in Israel on his first trip abroad when Hamas attacked. 10 Nepalese students were killed. Survivors say Bipin saved them when he threw a Hamas grenade out of their shelter before he was taken. The UN humanitarian chief, Tom Fletcher, sees a threat to his 60-day plan to flood Gaza with aid.
We need the agreement to be implemented in full by both sides. And so that does mean that Hamas have got to get their bodies home as they promised, but it also means that Israel has to keep the crossings open and allow us to deliver the aid that is so desperately needed.
Israel has been allowing you to bring in the aid. You guys haven't been delivering it, you fucking idiots. Israel has been allowing more aid in than the Gaza people need. It's the UN trucks that haven't been delivering them
At scale. So those reports have got to us. We're already on it. We're raising those with the Israeli authorities. We've got to get this aid in, hundreds of trucks a day, and we can't let this agreement get derailed.
Israel has to let aid in. Israel has been letting more aid in than any country ever into a war zone.
Inside Gaza, Hamas is reasserting itself, turning its
Reasserting itself means violating the peace agreement.
guns on armed clans it accuses of collaborating with Israel. Hamas is refusing to disarm. That's another potential deal breaker in the Trump plan.
It's not a potential deal breaker. It is a deal breaker. What the fuck is
Refusing
wrong
to
with you?
disarm. That's another potential deal breaker.
Guys, the deal is already broken. Like, this deal should be already off. The terms of the deal has been violated. It should already been announced dead.
In the Trump plan for peace in Gaza.
I just want to thank everybody.
At the Sharm el-Sheikh summit and before that in Jerusalem, Donald Trump proclaimed that the Gaza deal would lead to overall Middle East peace. The issues over bodies and weapons are more than snags. They're signs of trouble ahead. And again, on his way home, he refused to say whether he supports Palestinian independence.
I'm not talking about single state or double state or two state. We're talking about the rebuilding of Gaza.
What's the road ahead for governing Gaza? Because
A lot of people like the one state solution. Some people like the two state solutions. We'll have to see. I haven't.
One state solution. I'm glad that we're giving the one state solution as we're providing it as an option. All of that area should be Israel. There is no Palestine. There has never been a Palestine, and there should never be a Palestine as a country. That land, Gaza and West Bank, all of it has been, is today, and forever should be Israel.
People like the one state solution. Some people like the two state solutions. We'll have to see. I haven't commented on that.
Guys, please stop saying $7,000 whenever I defend Israel. Please write 14,000. My rate is double that. Please don't say 7,000. Every time I support Israel, somebody in the chat writes 7,000. Guy, I'm so good at my job. How do you think that? Do you think I'm only worth 7,000? I'm worth much more than that. Remember, guys, Israel pays me double the rate. Other people get 7,000. I get 14.
Gaza has a greater area of destruction than either Berlin or Hamburg in 1945, according to one assessment of satellite data. Today, 7 Palestinians were killed by the IDF. It said they were too close to their positions. The best hopes of more than 2 million Palestinians who live in Gaza and Israelis concerned about their security start with a robust ceasefire. This one is looking weak. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Jerusalem.
We'll hear from Jeremy a little later, but former captives at this hospital and others here in Tel Aviv are getting the medical and psychological support they need. Their rooms are large enough for family members to be with them. There are home comforts and space for their children to play. The transition, the reintegration back into normal life has begun. And tonight, some of their families have been speaking about their joy and gratitude, as well as anger. The remains of other hostages are still in Gaza.
Hey.
the warm embrace of a mother's love. Elkanah Bobet feared he'd never.
Somebody in the chat is saying, this guy, look at this idiot in the chat. Alpha in the chat is saying, imagine being Iranian and supporting Israel. Oh my God, you're so clueless. You should say the other way around. Do you have any idea how popular Israel is in Iran? You should say the opposite. You should say, imagine somebody being Iranian and being against Israel. It's the other way around, you fucking moron. Iranians love Israel.
Experience this again. Back with his family and wife Rivka.
Yesterday, I saw my husband and my son being reborn, seeing them embrace the moment that even though Elkanah was weak, he could not stop. He had to hold him very, very hard. And my son got his father back. And as a mother, I could not ask for more.
Tonight, there are more stories of the reunions, of families made whole again, and relationships rekindled. A gaunt Nimrod Cohen can smile again.
When I was united with Nimrod, we did not say a single word. We just hugged each other and we just let the tears flow.
And at Ichilov Hospital, the relatives of a number of hostages recounting the smiles of children held by their fathers once again. But Lishay Miran, reunited with her husband Omri, wants to remind the world the remains of some hostages are still in Gaza.
I want to mention.
Guys, is this a Jewish thing regarding the remains? Because I'm genuinely asking, because I don't, personally, I might not understand the caring about the remains as much, especially as an atheist. So if somebody could explain that to me, I mean, I'm not saying it's invalid. Obviously, if you care about it, it's a valid thing to care about. But I just want to understand it, because me personally, all I cared about were the living people. But is this a Jewish thing?
That there are
Well,
still
it's a Jewish thing.
24 hostages held by Hamas, whose families long for foreclosure. They deserve to be honored and given a proper burial. I call on the international community to keep pressure on Hamas. We will not stop our as family until all the remaining 24 hostages are home.
Yeah, I mean, I would care about it, given that the families care about it. If these families need the remains so much, for their peace of mind, and they care about it, then I care about it as well. But I care about it because they care about it.
Until all the remaining 24 hostages are home.
But Lishay's husband is home, and his brother-in-law told me how they've tried to smooth his return.
My sister showed him a video we prepared as a family of Ronnie Nama growing during those 2 years.
Yes, Samura.
It was important to us that he watches those critical moments he missed. We wanted him to come to the first meeting with the understanding that they look different, but also with the understanding that they went through so much without him. But there is a future ahead. Those happy moments he missed, there will be more happy moments in the future.
The reflection there of the relatives of one hostage now back home. Well, in Gaza, diggers have begun to clear rubble and some aid is beginning to go in, but Israel says it'll restrict the number of trucks entering until more of the dead hostages are returned. Now, Palestinian prisoners released by Israel yesterday have been sharing their stories. Lucy Williamson has been working with freelancers in
Palestinian prisoners? You mean
more of
terrorists?
the dead hostages are returned. Now, Palestinian prisoners released by Israel yesterday have been sharing their stories. Lucy Williamson has been working with freelancers in Gaza to compile this report about one free detainee's experience as he returned home.
They told him
Okay, guys, I'm gonna say something controversial. I think these people should have, I'm not for capital punishment usually, but I changed my mind for Israel. I think these people should have been executed so that you would have less motivation for these terrorists to take you as hostages, because there seems to be one of the major motivations that Hamas has um for taking hostages is because they're because they know for each hostage they could get hundreds and hundreds of terrorists released. But every terrorist that Israel captures, I think for Israel we need to have an exception, because the reason why I'm against capital punishment is because capital punishment has shown to not have much of a deterring factor over crimes. But in Israel's case, the point is not deterring people. The point is that as long as they're alive, Israel would be at risk of more hostages being taken by terrorists, because they will take them so that they could release those terrorists being captured. So if you had, I don't know what you guys think. This is just something I read somewhere, but somebody posted on Twitter, and I'm thinking if it makes sense, at least for Israel, for us to have that, so that there's nothing to exchange, because there are no terrorists left because they're all dead. I don't know what you guys think. Do you think we should have capital punishment for terrorism in Israel, so that there's less motivation for them taking hostages?
There was nothing to come back to.
Somebody's saying you need to go to jail. Me? I'm saying capital punishment for terrorists. How is that capital punishment for terrorists? That opinion? Also, I'm just saying I don't follow. So I'm saying when Israel captures terrorists, instead of keeping them in prison, you should have capital punishment for them. Okay? You should have execution, so that so once something like this happens, you don't have any terrorists to release. That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Okay. People are saying I agree. You're saying I agree. Other people are saying it. Yeah, okay. Ziv also agreeing. Yeah, okay.
He said that his house was gone and all his family were dead. For Shadi Abu Sido, after 20 months in Israeli detention, the arms of his wife were overwhelming.
These are fuckers that have taken so many of other people's wives. And look how BBC. You know what the BBC just did? They were like, okay, we covered the Israeli part so that we could seem fair. Now let's romanticize these terrorists. That's what just happened on the BBC. They're like, let's just cover the Israeli hostages so that when we go and romanticize these motherfuckers, then the audience cannot say like, oh, you guys are biased, because we also showed the Israeli side.
Of his children. Too much to take in.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat is saying this guy is a bloody Israel supporter. I'm proudly. Well, I'm not bloody, but I am Israel supporter. Yes.
After the lies of
yeah, my voice is like this because I have a cold, guys. I got a cold.
Too much to take in. After the lies of an Israeli intelligence officer had broken him, he said, this was the moment he came alive again.
So, oh yeah, by the way, Muhammad is saying just a reminder that Yahya Sinwar was also a person that was released in an exchange deal. Exactly. Like if Yahya Sinwar was executed instead of just being held in prison, October 7th would not have happened. Okay, so this is the repeat. Releasing these terrorists is the release of the policy, of the exchange policy, hostages with terrorists, not hostage exchange of hostages with terrorists is what made October 7th possible. And now we're doing it again. We're basically doing exactly, we're saying never again. Like October 7th, never again. I mean, if you want October 7th never to happen again, then why are you repeating the mistakes that led to it? Guys, two things led to October 7th. One, releasing terrorists into Gaza. Two, leaving Gaza. Stay in Gaza. October 7th was the result of you evacuating Gaza. So if you say never again, mean it. Get into Gaza and stay there. Don't leave. Why would you want to evacuate Gaza? Last time you evacuated Gaza, it led to October 7th. Hold on, let me see who this guy is.
Indescribable moment, psychological shock. After all this destruction, after all these martyrs, my family was still alive. He'd been lying when he told me, "We killed your family, we killed your children." His words were stuck in my head when I saw them.
Shadi arrived back in Gaza yesterday, one of almost 2,000 Palestinian prisoners exchanged for Israeli hostages under the first phase of Donald Trump's peace plan. A photojournalist himself, he was filmed by TV crews taking his first steps back on home soil, looking lethargic and drained. Today we filmed him again.
You know, they showing, I don't know who they picked to, like, I'm assuming BBC picks one that maybe didn't kill anybody, but even if that's the case, they're trying to whitewash all of them. Okay, so this guy doesn't seem to have killed anybody. So, but the way that they're doing this is they go and highlight the reunion, like instead of the one that I showed you, like, you know, the one that I showed you that people were celebrating and the guy actually blew up a bus. So BBC is careful not to celebrate that, right? So, for example, instead of showing this, so if BBC showed this, I'm like, oh my God, look at this reunion of this so-called Palestinian prisoner back at home with his daughter. People will be attacking BBC, but like, oh my God, you fucking idiot. This guy blew up 7 children. Okay. But BBC does something more clever. It goes and finds one of those prisoners that didn't kill anybody and shows the reunion as something beautiful and romantic. But the audience will get an impression that this is the rest of it. This is all of them are like this.
A different man. Shadi said an Israeli officer showed him proof his family house had been bombed. The prison service said they operated in line with the law and were not aware of any such incidents taking place. Shadi also accuses Israeli forces of physical abuse, beginning with his detention at Shifa Hospital while reporting there in March last year.
He tied me up, naked, and started beating me. I have broken ribs. They healed the wrong way.
Guys, do you see how they're dedicating for the other side? Look at this. BBC didn't show the conditions that the hostages had. Like, it's looking the hostages being released and the prisoners being released, and it's dedicating a huge time to show how unfair Israel was to the prisoners. But it didn't dedicate any time looking at the condition that the Israeli hostages had under Hamas. Guys, I could promise you that the conditions that the so-called Palestinian terrorists had in Israeli prisons on average was so much better than the conditions of the Hamas hostages in Gaza. You fucking filth, BBC. I mean, I can see what you're doing. You fucking filth.
That was the first type of torture they did to me. They kept me naked for more than 10 hours in the middle of winter.
This is Hamas. We're watching Hamas propaganda on BBC.
We put his allegations to the Israeli army, which said it needed more information and that it obeyed Israeli.
What, BBC? Why don't you show this? Look, why don't you show this? Look at the way that this guy is coming back home.
An international law. This morning, Shadi woke in terror at 5 a.m. The war around him has stopped, but his own battle for peace and security has just begun. Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Ramallah.
Well, in a moment, we'll hear from Jeremy in Jerusalem. But first to Sarah Smith, who's in Washington. I just wonder, Sarah, is there any queasiness perhaps at the White House that perhaps the ceasefire is beginning to become a little unstitched?
The ceasefire was never stitched to begin with.
Absolutely none that's apparent in any way, Clive. Donald Trump sounds supremely confident about the ceasefire, and he is behaving as though the whole peace deal has been done, that there's no more.
Are you guys as confident as Trump?
Work to go. And of course, that is not the case. And one of the most contentious things is that Hamas have not yet agreed to give up all of their weapons, and that might be very difficult to do. So that's something Donald Trump was asked about in an event at the White House a little earlier.
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm...
Wait, what?
Well, they're going to disarm, and because they said they were going to disarm.
Did Trump just say that Hamas is going to disarm because they said they're going to disarm? So you trust them? They're going to do it because they said so? Okay. Sure.
And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games.
Okay, you don't need to disarm them. If they don't disarm, just do this, Trump. Just do this. Okay, if Hamas doesn't disarm, Trump, I know you watch our shows. Just kidding. Okay, Trump, just stay out of Bibi's way. Listen to me. Listen to me. I know I have a cold and it's hard to listen to me, but this is important. You don't need to disarm Hamas. You don't need to do anything. Okay? All you need to do is give a green light to Bibi. He knows what to do. Just get out of the way. Just keep supporting Israel. They know what to do. Just let them do what they need to do. Okay? That's all you have to do.
And then he went on to say that that disarmament would happen quickly and possibly violently. And he was asked about a timeline. He said it would happen in a reasonable time, probably pretty quickly, without giving us any more details. He said he had been assured by the top leadership in Hamas that they would be prepared to give up their weapons. The other concern here is how much longer Donald Trump will stay focused on this Middle East peace process. If he believes he has already done the deal, he may quickly shift his attention to other things. He was crucial to getting this deal done. Will he stay engaged enough to intervene at other key steps? He's already talking about wanting to move on to dealing with Ukraine and Russia. President Zelensky will be here at the White House on Friday, asking President Trump to supply him with Tomahawk weapons. There are so many other things for him to deal with. Will he remain? Will he keep his focus on the Middle East process?
Sarah, thanks for that.
Wait, yeah, actually, the fact that Trump didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize and he's going to be nominated for next year might make him want to stay involved in the Middle East as a way to, try to guarantee that his plans actually come to fruition, so he could get the Nobel Peace Prize next year.
To you, Jeremy, in Jerusalem, we just heard from Washington there the sense that there's nothing to see.
Is that the Jeremy?
Here, as far as the White House is concerned, the ceasefire is going according to plan. What's your reading?
I would imagine if his officials closer to it are looking at what's going on, they will be concerned.
Oh, okay. No, it's not. I thought no, he's not. Okay.
Because there are key parts of the deal. One is to do with return.
I was like, when did he change his job?
Because there are key parts of the deal. One is to do with returning bodies. There are problems with that. One is to do with bringing aid in. There's problems with that. And reopening the crossroads. There's problems with that. And what about the future of Hamas weapons? They have intimated that heavier weapons, not that they've got that many of them left, might be given up, but they want to keep the weapons that they have because, first of all, that is deep in their ideological DNA, as the full name is the Islamic Resistance Movement. And also, I think they're worried that if they're not armed, there are plenty of people out there in Gaza who would like to take their revenge on them and will come after them. So what they're doing at the moment, actually, is putting armed men on the streets with their masks, with their weapons, and they are cracking down on armed clans, extended families and groups who have weapons themselves to reassert their power, to send a message to Gazans, don't mess with us, and to the outside world that they are still there. So,
which is a violation of the peace agreement.
These are problems. I mean, it's not an end to the ceasefire, far from it, and all ceasefires start with difficulties. However, it is concerning that a deal that is not supported by firm agreements and a lot of detail is already running into some kind of trouble, and it would be complacent to say that it is not.
Okay, wait, let's actually watch this one. I think this one is better.
Even before knowing there was a risk of aid being cut, there was desperation to get hold of it. Beneath this mass.
Hey, what do they have, like, in Gaza? There's parts of Gaza that people have cafes and high-end restaurants and filled, supermarkets with full shelves, and there's parts of Gaza where people are running for aid, right? So how is, like, I want to see how the class structure is in Gaza. Like, how does that work? Yeah. Are there certain parts of Gaza that is much better off than other parts of Gaza?
It's full of food.
I mean, obviously, yes, but I just want to see how big the gap is.
Beneath this mass of people are trucks full of food.
Oh, hold on.
Food that until the last few days has been in dangerously short supply. Now, Israel is threatening to cut by half the already limited supplies it allows into Gaza.
Oh, guys, wait! I just got a message from BB. Hold on. Okay. Let me just 1 second. Hold on. Did you send me 14K? Did you see my shrine? Did you send me 14K? Because I didn't see it yet. I'm checking my account. Not there yet. Hurry up. Kisses. XOXO. Okay. Sometimes BB delays sending me my payment.
All the bodies of its hostages are returned. The bodies of 4 more hostages made the pitiful journey back to Israel tonight, but that still leaves 20 missing inside Gaza. There had been hope the clock in Hostages Square would no longer be needed, but still it counts the minutes as families wait for the missing. Flags honour the dead as the failure to return their bodies threatens the ceasefire.
Yeah, I was saying the other show, imagine when you see the ceasefire, like imagine the families of the people who didn't ever get their loved ones back. When they watch the family celebrating the loved one comes home, I don't know how painful that is. That must be hell.
We don't have a grave for my father, and we don't have a grave for 23 others.
Rotem Cooper is waiting for his 85-year-old father Amiran's body.
This is not acceptable. This is a clear violation of the.
So, guys, under Jewish religion, what happens if you don't get the body back? Like what are the consequences?
Agreement. All along it was explained to us. All the hostages are coming out, the live one as well as the deceased one.
Tonight, Prime Minister Netanyahu visited the surviving hostages and vowed he would ensure the dead were also returned. Just a brief glimpse at the state of Gaza explains the scale of that task. But even without stage 1 of his deal being complete, President Trump is moving to stage 2, creating an international body to run this place.
Yeah, guys, remember when they show you these pictures, they want to insist, they show it to show how evil Israel is, but every time you see the destruction in Gaza, the thing you need to think is like, holy shit, look how evil Hamas is, that they basically use the entire civilian infrastructure as their base of their operation. This destruction that you're seeing. This is the result of Hamas using civilian infrastructure for their operations. That's what has led to this destruction.
And disarming Hamas.
We have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me? Yes.
For now, Hamas remains the dominant security.
Look at this. By the way, I just watched the full video. They're not, because it's on YouTube, they're not going to show you the moment of shooting, but I just watched it on X, and it's absolutely like the second after that you don't see on YouTube is absolutely insane. Like, it's just so chaotic.
Force in Gaza, armed and carrying out executions of those it believes.
So for people who just arrived, what's happening is that in Gaza, Hamas is deleting everybody who they think it was working with Israel.
Security force in Gaza, armed and carrying out executions of those it believes have collaborated with Israel. Bodies taken by Israel during the war are now being sent back. Families wait to see if their relatives are amongst those being returned. Rasmia Kude is looking for her son Fadi. He went missing 2 years ago.
I want my heart to ease. If he is dead, may he rest in peace. But I hope his body will be here because I don't want to keep waiting in this limbo, not knowing what happened.
Others are only just learning of their loss. Haytham was among the detainees released by Israel yesterday. He got home to discover his wife and 3 children had all been killed. This is them in the video, he says, my beloved ones, and begs to be allowed to keep watching. His phone is now the only link he has to them. Both Hamas and Israel.
Yeah. Just remember, every time, guys, it's very important. Every time you see, especially children dying in Gaza, be careful for Hamas not to turn you into the monsters that they are. The correct reaction is not to care. Obviously, you should care about innocent people dying anywhere. The correct response is that the murderer of these children in Gaza and any other innocent person, every single one of them is on Hamas. Every single one of them. Okay? So be careful, because during war, because how evil and barbaric your enemy is, you might be tempted to become just a little bit like them. And I understand that it's because they're so disgusting, and the hate that they have might make it seem fair for you to also be just a little bit as hateful as they are. But it's very important not to give in to that. It's really important that you find in your heart to get sad over the children in Gaza dying. It's very important that if you don't feel sad, try to find a way to get sad. Sometimes it's important to get sad. Okay? So if you see the children in Gaza dying and you don't get sad, your enemy is robbing you of your humanity. You know, and that's something very precious that you should not let them take away from you. Do not turn to like them. Do not make you like them. Okay? When you see children in Gaza dying, find ways to get sad. Okay? That's a sadness that is precious that you need to keep. Okay? Our position is not that their lives are not important. Their lives are absolutely important. Every single one of them. Their lives are precious. Our position is that their murderer was not Israel. Their murderer was Hamas. Hamas killed those babies.
And begs to be allowed to keep watching. His phone is now the only link he has to them. Both Hamas and Israel are accusing each other of violating this ceasefire, and every infringement, real or perceived, weakens it a little more. For those trying to survive here, it is an imperfect peace, but that is better than a return to war. Emma Murphy, News at 10, Tel Aviv.
Well, the glimpses we saw yesterday of beaming hostages and their families, breathless with joy, signaled the start of a long process of recovery. There is so much to share. Yes, the elation of the reunion, but also 2 years of agonies, both physical and mental. The returned Israelis are in hospital, eating, healing, and reconnecting, preparing for their return at one hospital near Tel Aviv, and supervising their recovery is nursing director Dr. Michael Steinman. Rachel caught a word with her today.
Always the first hostage who comes at morning, it's a big moment because we open the unit and suddenly family comes and helicopter land and the right noses and the love. We start hearing the right voices. That's a very, very good moment.
This is what Dr. Michael has spent months preparing for. By the side of 5 of the surviving hostages almost from the start, it's her job to restore them to health and reintroduce them to some of those they've missed most.
I told him, do you know who's waiting for you up there? So he looked at me and he said, I think I know. And so I told him, it's not just your brother and sister.
This is Aviatar David, reuniting with Guy Gilboa Dalal, his childhood friend and fellow captive, who's also just been released.
When he said, we've been all the captivity together. We were separated on August.
Oh, so wait, guys. I think I have a video of this guy, his friend, after being released, eating chocolate for the first time after 2 years. Hold on, look at this. He, hold on. Eats chocolate for the first time after 2 years. Watch this. Look at oh my god. More. Oh god, you enjoyed it. That was so sweet.
Touching. We didn't know if we're going to meet again. And he's my brother in blood. And I just want to hug him.
For 2 years, musicians have come every day to Hostages Square to play the piano placed there for Alon Ahel. So as well as making sure his family were waiting, the team at Rabin placed a piano in his room.
And I saw his mother and father sitting on a couch near the room. And then she told me, if you want to know what was the reaction to the piano, please put your ear on the door and listen. And so I did. And I heard them play. And I told her, please, can I stay another moment? She said, stay as long as you want.
For hostages like Anvinatan, or the road to some kind of...
Guys, this is all we needed from this so-called peace agreement. This is all we needed. This is the part that we can celebrate. The rest is BS. There is no peace agreement. Go destroy, especially now that you gave them so many more terrorists. Go destroy Hamas. We got what we needed.
Recovery will be long. His girlfriend Noah was also held captive, but some wounds are already healing.
Almost every person in the world remembers this awful video from the 7th of October when you see Noah on the motorbike, and then amazing feelings when Noah was released. And now seeing them in front of me, holding hands, two beautiful persons that against all odds, holding hands together. human moment that you say there is hope in this world.
And Rachel is in Hostages Square. Rachel, those scenes just never get any less emotional to watch. But we've been hearing tonight from some of the families of the hostages released yesterday. What have they had to say?
That's right, Tom. And almost without exception, everyone.
Wow, somebody is saying cringe in the chat. I don't know if you're saying that to the videos you're watching, but if you are, congratulations, you just exposed yourself as a monster. I hope you're saying that to something else.
One of them has started by expressing their deep gratitude to President Trump. They feel that he did what their own leader could or would not do by bringing their loved ones home. And it's difficult to overstate just how deep the affection they feel for him is. We witnessed it ourselves here over the weekend when his special envoy, Stephen Witkoff, addressed packed out crowds here. They stretched into the streets beyond. But tonight, that thank you, it felt really personal, I think. And we also heard some very moving descriptions of the past 24 hours that they've spent with their loved ones. We heard from Vicky, the mother of Nimrod Cohen, who described how she hasn't slept barely over the past 2 years, but how last night, with her adult son beside her, she managed to sleep, as she said, beautifully all the way through the night. And then we heard too from the wife of Omri Miran. He is the father of 2 young daughters. We witnessed his reunion in pictures yesterday, but it was a moment that tonight she managed to capture perfectly.
After 738 days, Omri is finally home. Ronnie and Alma ran into their father's arm, and he heard them say, Abba, Daddy, again. In that moment, fulfilled the promise I made on October 7 and held something words cannot describe.
But what they all did want to describe is how much their hearts are still with the families of those hostages who didn't come back, whose remains remain in Gaza tonight, despite the promises that were made as part of this ceasefire that they would be coming back. They say that they will continue to fight for each one of those families. They're an incredibly close-knit community. And it's for those 20 hostages that the flags behind me continue to fly, that the piano continues to play. And it's for them that the clock that still stands here in Hostages Square continues to tick on.
Okay, Rachel, thank you very much indeed. Well, the release of Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails,
Palestinian terrorists,
should be a cause for celebration for their families. One elderly West Bank couple haven't seen their 2 sons for 33 years since they were convicted of killing 3 Israeli soldiers. And they won't be seeing them anytime again soon either, not in person. Israel has freed the brothers, yes, but exiled them to Egypt. The nearest they'll get to a meeting is a video call.
In this corner of the West Bank, there's been no happy homecoming. Not for Yusuf Shamansi, whose 2 sons have served more than 30 years in prison for the killing of 3 Israeli soldiers.
Why should they come home? What the fuck? Why should they come home? They're murderers. They should at least get life in prison, if not execution.
Still, he is joyful. His boys will not now die in jail.
I am very happy because they're free.
They were released yesterday, but sent into exile in Egypt, more distant than ever.
Oh my God, they're free.
Until now, they have not set eyes on each other. The sound of their voices summons their mother.
You have raised terrorists. You should disown them.
Who is helped into the room to look for the first time in years upon her son's now pale faces.
Guys, look at look. Can you compare to the 2 sides? One side is releasing innocent people that haven't killed anybody. The other side is being releasing. The people who are being released are terrorists.
I wish I could give you a hug and kiss you, they tell her.
عليكو يما حنن عليكو حب خلك فيكو.
وهذه الحنية تبعتي لها.
I miss them. Now I'm thinking of them when they were little babies. I've hardly seen them as grown men. That is why I'm crying.
بطل نشوفه.
Yusuf's home sits next to the Israeli border. He cannot cross it to see his sons without Israeli permission. The Trump peace plan is grand on aspiration and poor on detail. And here on the West Bank, the basis for a Palestinian state already recognized by Britain and other countries, it remains.
Yeah, which is a violation of the Oslo Accords, because the only the recognition of the so-called Palestinian state cannot happen without Israel accepting it. So they just violated, international law.
Remains a world of Israeli.
And Israel should respond. Israel should respond to Canada and UK's recognition of a so-called Palestinian state by tripling the speed that it builds settlements in the West Bank.
By Britain and other countries, it remains a world of Israeli walls, Israeli checkpoints.
Somebody in the chat is saying, wait, Armin Navob, you missed an I. You are scum. Wow, great argument, man. Good job. I'm convinced.
And Israeli settlements. Israel argues that's what it takes to keep its citizens safe. Yusuf says it's getting worse for Palestine.
Oh, look, guys, this guy is a supporter of terrorism. Look at the stuff on the wall, supporting a terrorist with the flag of Palestine. By the way, guys, for people who are new here, the flag of Palestine is a terrorist flag. Palestine, the Palestinian movement, is a terrorist movement, and there is no such thing as a country of Palestine. Palestine only refers, the name Palestine only refers to a terroristic movement. And this father has raised a terrorist, and he supports terrorism.
Israeli soldiers come every day into our street.
Well, I mean, given how much you celebrate terrorism, they should be.
Destroy our homes. Our life is not good.
Do you think now there is a realistic chance of peace and justice?
They don't want peace. They don't want peace. They want to destroy Israel.
Like Donald Trump promises?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. We live inside a big prison. All of us.
For all the talk of change here, there's no...
Oh, you live inside a prison? Maybe first a prison that you built for yourself, because Israel didn't blockade you. It was Israel and Egypt. Like, guys, if Israel is evil because of the blockade, why are you guys not blaming Egypt for also building a wall around your borders? You guys are so insane and radical that even Egypt, the Islamic country of Egypt, is like, no, fuck no, we want none of that, right? So it seems like the problem comes from your side of the wall.
No doubt who's still in charge. John Ray, News at 10 in the West Bank.
Yeah, West Bank is Israel. West Bank should be Israel. All of West Bank should be Israel. Every single inch of it.
Filming of Gaza on the ground and from the air has shown the Armageddon-like destruction of most of the buildings these past 2 years. Well, now...
Oh, yeah, but that's the West Bank. So the blockade I was talking about is in Gaza.
Now the United Nations has put a...
The West Bank people also claim that they're in a prison? I thought that was a Gazan thing to say. People in the West Bank also claim that they're in an open-air prison? Wow, the audacity.
Destruction of most of the buildings these past 2 years. Well, now the United Nations has put a figure on it. More than 80%. For Gaza City itself, more than 90%. As far as the eye can see, the Rimal district of Gaza City is grey.
Guys, Gazan people who are my fans and watching this, I have a pro tip for you. If you don't want your city to look like this, don't elect Hamas. Okay? Don't elect Hamas if you don't want your city to end up looking like this. How about that? Try that. Try that next time. It will work better for you.
Buildings crumpled, their remains strewn over the landscape. This is Ramal in 2020, 3 years before the war started.
3 years before Hamas decided to, inflicted genocide upon Jews in Israel, right? So October 7th did this to your city.
The area was once considered the beating heart of Gaza City and the Strip's most affluent neighborhood. It was one of the first areas targeted by Israel following Hamas.
Let this be a lesson to anybody else that wants to wage war against Israel. If you like the way your cities look, don't wage war against Israel.
His attack on October the 7th, 2023, which killed over 1,000 Israelis and, of course, brought the hostages to Gaza. The United Nations estimates that 84% of Gaza's buildings are damaged or destroyed. In Gaza City itself, that estimate rises to 92%. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization believes 98.5% of cropland in the Gaza Strip is either damaged, inaccessible, or both. Only 230 hectares remain usable. It is not only shelter and agricultural land that's destroyed, but critical infrastructure too. In Gaza, approximately 55 million tons of rubble needs to be removed, enough to fill Central Park in New York up to 12 meters high.
Okay, so this is going to be a huge excuse for getting aid in, and this is why to rebuild Gaza, and this is why it's absolutely crucial to not let any aid into Gaza until Hamas has completely been dismantled. Because, guys, when you open the level of aid and material that Gaza needs for reconstruction is so enormous that it's going to be almost impossible to monitor everything to make sure that it's not rebuilding Hamas. Do you understand what it's needed to rebuild Gaza? It's going to be enormous. And there's no force on this planet that could actually monitor all of that to make sure that the material that is getting in is not going to, instead of rebuilding Gaza, some of it, even if 1/10 of a percentage of that goes to Gaza, because it's such a big number, goes to Hamas, because it's such a big number, Hamas is going to become stronger than it has ever been. It's going to be able to recruit, rebuild, rearm, all of it. This is why none of this rebuilding should not even begin until everything that could potentially be Hamas has been removed. And again, that's almost an impossible job to do. That's why the only solution, again, and that job is an impossible job to do without the IDF present in Gaza.
With efforts hampered by over 7,500 tons of unexploded munitions thought to be in the territory. The estimated cost, £53 billion.
No, so Andrew, you're a fucking moron. The aid that I was talking about was, so look at this idiot. He says, you can't stay on point with your lies. One time you said Israel is allowing aid. Andrew, I know your IQ is below is room temperature level, right? But I was talking about food. I was not talking about the aid that you need to rebuild Gaza. I know you're retarded. I know you're slow. Okay, I don't know. Hey, can you count? Okay, Andrew, I don't think you have the brain power enough to be able to understand what we're saying. So maybe I shouldn't insult you because you're too retarded.
Experts say it could take a decade or even several to rebuild Gaza. But how, one might ask, can a population starving and weary...
Oh, look at this. Andrew is saying, and your mom is the retard. Okay, wow, Andrew, very, very powerful comeback. Was that the best you had? Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay, you also insult like a retard. No creativity at all. Okay, I was right. You are a retard.
After 2 years of relentless war, find the strength. One man who knows only too well the intractable differences between Israel and the Palestinians is the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. At President Clinton's invitation a quarter of a century ago, he held talks with the Palestinian leader of the age, Yasser Arafat, at the American presidential retreat of Camp David. In the end, those talks came to nothing. I spoke to Mr. Barak and I began by asking him whether he really thought Hamas would step back from controlling Gaza.
No.
I'm sure they will have no choice but to do it if it executed immediately, namely.
Oh, wait, this guy is a guy. This guy has so much shit takes. What's wrong with this guy? Israelis in the chat. This man has so many shit takes. He's like, he's like many of his takes are anti-Israeli.
If a force made of Egyptians.
Is he like I know he's a former prime minister, but is he like a very leftist former prime minister? Because he's shit. His analysis has always been shit.
Jordanians, Emiratis, for example. Hamas cannot afford shooting at Egyptians. They holding the oxygen pipe for the whole strip. They cannot dare to shoot at Emiratis or Saudis who hold the purse for the reconstruction.
Wars do end. Sometimes it's just...
Wait, what did he say?
Oxygen pipe for the whole kingdom, but to do it if it executed immediately, namely if a force made of Egyptians, Jordanians, Emiratis, for example. Hamas cannot afford shooting at Egyptians.
Why can't they afford? Why can't Hamas? They would love to be able. Hamas would love the opportunity to shoot at Egyptians.
Holding the oxygen pipe for the whole strip. They cannot dare to shoot at Emiratis or Saudis who hold the purse for the reconstruction.
If they're there to replace Hamas, they would definitely dare to shoot at them.
Do end. Sometimes it's just about timing. You yourself have been involved directly in peace efforts. Is this the time? Is it conceivable that Prime Minister Netanyahu will be willing to accept the kind of trade-offs needed?
Okay, he's not going to shed on Netanyahu. Is he going to shed on Bibi? I know he's going to. I think he's going to shed on Bibi.
Needed for particularly around a Palestinian state?
Look, it's possible. There is a term, you know, cunning of history. In many cases in history, we have seen that after deep tragedies, where both sides have to accept certain realities that they tended to ignore, sometimes over many years, coming to the surface and demanding action. And in many cases, when at the same time there is a global or international zeitgeist, which creates a tailwind for negotiations, it flies.
In order for this to progress to a meaningful peace deal, you've got to have a Palestinian leader who you can deal with and has the credibility to see this deal.
Yeah, that person does not exist.
Through for the Palestinian people. Do you see that person, and if so, who is it?
Probably it won't be immediately. Probably it will take 3 or 5 years and not 3 or 5 months. But to say that it's inconceivable that Palestinians, after all the suffering, they cannot bring any figure and any political collective will to negotiate end of the conflict, I don't think that it's right. I remember you.
Well, then you don't understand the history of your own country. Have you not seen that over and over and over again? I mean, they're not even interested in peace. They're interested in your annihilation. Has this man not studied the history of his own country?
You mentioned my discussion with Arafat. I remember telling them, your toughest moment will be not facing me. It will be facing your own people, having to tell them the truth about what a peace agreement contains. Look, if we...
Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? The people... his own people were hating on him because he almost got into his people were attacking him for talking to Israelis at all. What the fuck?
He would not complete it. It will pass to our success.
He doesn't understand the so-called Palestinian people.
Nothing will be changed. Every wadi and every jabal, mountain, everything will be the same, except for the size of the graveyards on both sides. And I can tell you honestly, your graveyards will grow much faster than mine.
Mr. Brett, thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Thank you.
Useless.
And Emma joins me here just to reflect on today. Emma, I was Kind of surprised to hear Mr. Brown. I mean, he's a former Special Forces commander, military chief of staff, and prime minister. And he was his kind of point about Hamas really, you know, they can't, if this force gets up and running, you know, they can't shoot at the Egyptians and the Saudis. I thought there was at least some hope in that. But today's been a very difficult day.
I mean, does he not understand Hamas? There's so many different people. They're so violent. They're so radical. Even if some leaders of Hamas wanted to not shoot at the Emiratis, how are you going to control all of these bloodthirsty radicals that you have created there? Of course, somebody's going to shoot at them.
Where do you think we're at?
Well, he's quite right. And of course he would be. He's a time-served diplomat. He's seen what's happened in this war.
He's retarded.
Over so many years. And of course, let's not forget that, you know, go back 20 years, 25 years now to when he was negotiating. That seemed like the best chance. It failed. And then the Intifada. And
It failed. And he hasn't learned a lesson for why it failed.
every second Intifada and everything that came since then has compounded the tragedy. So yes, the graveyards have grown and will grow. And in terms of the situation now, of course, they're not going to want to start putting a force in there that's going to get shot at by Hamas or anybody else. Trying to get that force in is the big thing, and it's still not complete.
The only force capable of defending itself in Gaza is the IDF.
Nailed down as to exactly who would take part. In terms of today, well, it has been tricky and it's going to carry on being tricky.
Guys, the only way to I mean, I want to see how these people could go into Gaza defending himself against Hamas while having built these buildings where Hamas will use as a space of operations. This is why Israel, even the IDF, was forced to destroy so many of these buildings because it was basically impossible to fight a militia that is not wearing a uniform, that it basically mixes itself with the rest of the people, and it goes into apartments and mosques and hospitals and kindergartens and shoots you from there. The only way to fight an enemy is to basically destroy these buildings so that there's nothing to hide in. And even the IDF was not willing to send its soldiers into a place where there's so many booby traps and every corner could be a Hamas fighter that might be a civilian or a Hamas fighter shooting at you. So the only way to go into Gaza without having your soldiers killed with IDF, which has much better trained soldiers than, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, or any of obviously better than the UAE. That's what Israel had to do. So I want to see which one of these countries is going to be able to fight back against Hamas without destroying any of these buildings and without all the experience that the IDF has. I mean, it would be interesting to see what will happen.
The bodies of 4 more of the hostages have now started to move towards Israel. That is a significant moment, certainly for their families, but also for this ceasefire process, because there was huge frustration here in Israel over the past couple of days that there just had not been the level of moves that they had expected in terms of the numbers of the hostages, the dead hostages that would be returned. They thought there'd be far more than 4. And I think the fact that they're trying to really sort of twist the screw by stopping the aid, stopping the fuel, is an attempt to warn Hamas that they really are very, very serious about getting these deceased hostages back. Of course, Israel has got to be very careful in this position, because if they go too far, they will also be seen as violating the terms of the agreement that was made only a few days.
How could you violate the terms of an agreement that has already been violated? Like, oh yes, they violated the terms of the agreement, but Israel shouldn't violate the terms of the agreement also. Guys, when a deal has been violated, then you cannot violate it as well, because the deal is no more. If you have 2 parties, A and B, and you have an agreement, if A violates the terms of the agreement, then B can no longer violate the terms of the agreement, because the agreement has already been violated. There is no more agreement. So Israel can't violate the terms of the agreement because it has already been violated.
Days ago, and the whole cycle will begin of one and the other continuing to accuse each other of these terrible breaches until it doesn't hold anymore.
Okay.
Whatever. Bunch of. All right, guys. I'm gonna go rest my voice. I don't want to do 2 hours of live stream because I'm sick and I need to rest my throat a little bit. So I'm gonna go drink some hot water with some honey in it. Hopefully that works. I've been told that that works. Yeah, so I'm gonna go recover and wish me better health so that I could do more shows. I don't know if I should, if my voice doesn't get better, maybe I should take one day that I don't do a show. I don't know. I don't want to not do a show. So we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna go rest my throat right now. And thank you guys for hanging out with me. And thank you guys for making this, easier to watch. It's easier to watch these and analyze these with you guys here. Oh, by the way, guys, is Torah here in the chat? Because guys, you guys were looking for communities. You guys were looking for like Discord and stuff. I have a better option, I think, now for you guys. If you go into the post section, we I think it's our YouTube just visit community, guys. Our channel now has a community. So you don't even need to go to Discord. We could turn our channel into a community. If you guys go check on the homepage of our YouTube channel, I mean, we will promote our Discord as well. But if you go to the homepage, you can see that YouTube has this new feature for community where you guys could just talk with each other. Yeah. So if you go to our homepage, at the very top right, you should see the option of community. Is that correct? Let me see. So you could do, yes, you can see that. So just go to the homepage at the very top, visit community, and you could basically talk to each other there. And all the Jew haters in the chat, free feel to come call us Nazis there. You guys are welcome to come call us genocide loving, genocide supporting, child killing Nazis. If you want to come call us that there, you're welcome there. Come over. And also the rest of you, yeah, this is a good place for discussion. So just visit our community this is a new feature. It's a place that you guys could have discussions with each other, and I will participate with you. Maybe sometimes, how about this? Like, give me suggestions. Sometimes I will highlight your community posts, like on the live stream. Oh, you're saying show? Okay, let me show. You're right. I should show this. Good point. Hold on. So, actually, why didn't I think of that? I should be showing this to you guys. Yeah, hold on. So if you go to the home page, you guys see this? If you go to the home page, you can visit community here, right? And if you visit community, you could, even if you're not anybody could basically put an image, make a post here, and and other people could comment on your post, so you could talk to each other here. Yes, I'm gonna go drink a lot of hot water. You have that. You should have that. I just I'm looking at this with a different account. I'll find a way. Yeah, okay. Check it and let me know. Amir saying, Armin, is it okay to post there? Yes, and you guys can post whatever you want there. Just make it related to the stuff that we talk about. Just even a little bit related, that would be good. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go rest. Thank you, and let me know how that works, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, I'm Israel Chai, Javicha. Talk to you guys later.